Dear viewers, welcome to this episode of Expert Speak. These days, a lot of NRIs are returning back from US, Canada, UK, and several other developing countries. When they come back, there is one issue which they get confronted with. They have funded the retirement accounts when they were living in these countries. When they come back, the retirement accounts will stay back in their countries. In this episode, the expert of the week, Chartered Accountant Sriram Rao, is going to talk about how these retirement accounts held outside of India will be taxed in India. This is NRI Money Clinic for you, and I'm Dr. Chandrakant Bhatt, your financial guide for a happy living.
NRI Money Clinic. No hype, just the right advice.
Dear viewers, expert of the week is Chartered Accountant Sriram Rao. He needs no introduction. You have seen him in multiple videos. He has simplified the tax codes for NRIs on various topics. Today, I am taking one another topic, which is quite complex, which is difficult to understand. Nevertheless, we'll make our best possible effort to solve this problem as well. NRIs come back, leaving behind the retirement accounts in the countries where they have lived. What is going to happen to these retirement accounts? How will they be taxed? Will they be taxed? Will they not be taxed? If they are going to tax, how much of tax the individuals have to pay? Let us get answers to all these questions from our expert of the week, Chartered Accountant Sriram Rao. Mr. Sriram Rao, welcome to this episode.
Thank you.
Sriram, this is a tough subject. I know you have to put your best efforts to simplify it. It's very, very complex. I know it is going to be complex. Our audience may find it difficult to understand, but let's make an honest attempt how we can do about it. Now,
I'll try my best.
Yeah. Now, the countries like US, Canada, UK, Ireland, Singapore, Japan, Australia, all these guys have got retirement accounts. If you're living in those countries as an NRI, you need to be parking your money in these retirement accounts. At the time of coming back, these retirement accounts will still stay back because people cannot withdraw this money beyond a particular age threshold limits. It varies from country to country. The rules will vary from country to country. Now, when they come back, the retirement accounts are held outside of India. The question that is lingering on in the minds of NRI community is, will it be taxed in India or will it not be taxed in India? What do you have to say for this?
Firstly, there will be several criteria that needs to be looked into before one answers these questions. Firstly, the retirement account held outside of India would become taxable in India in the hands of resident and ordinarily resident only. That is ROR. It will not become taxable in India in the hands of non-residents or not ordinarily resident. Okay, this is a very simple thing, but this is very important. And henceforth, whatever I'm going to speak, that is most of the things will be from the perspective of a resident and ordinarily resident. Going further, the rules regarding the taxation of retirement accounts held outside of India is similar to taxation of unrecognized pension funds or provident funds, held by an individual in India. Okay, and with certain variations, the retirement accounts held outside of India will attract tax in India. However, one thing has to be noted here is the capital which is already been put in when that person was a non-resident will not attract tax in India. That is very important. Only the year-on-year income that is being earned from that retirement account will attract tax in India. The incomes in the manner of interest and dividends, these are the basically, these are the income that will attract tax in India. However, the capital gains, unless they are realized within that account, that will not attract tax in India. Only realized capital gains would also attract tax in India.
Let me take an example now here. As I understand, let's say that one NRI has put $100,000 in his retirement account. That's his contribution. At the time of coming back to India, or let's say when he becomes an ROR, there will be 2 years of RNOR, depending on how many years he has left outside of India. This $100,000 what he has invested has become 150,000. Now, for the computation purpose, this 150,000, which is the valuation of this plan, on the date when he becomes ROR, will be treated as a principal and no taxes have to be paid against that. But 1 year later, whatever the earnings that this 150,000 US dollar has earned in the following year, he will become liable for taxation here. Is my understanding correct?
Yes, yes, it will become taxable. However, one need to check what type of retirement account and how the incomes are getting appreciated in that account. Okay, so when he came to India, 150 million was the amount. So after that, how that amount or appreciation happened in that account, whether it was due to accrual of interest, dividend, or capital gains, or how it is, and that too realized capital gains, not otherwise. So only realized capital gains and realized dividend and interest within that account will attract tax in India.
Okay, let me repeat here my understanding again.
Yes.
Going back to the previous example, when the NRI came back, the total value of his account was 150,000 US dollar.
Yes.
In the next 1 year, there has been gains.
Yes.
If the gains, a portion of the gains have come in the form of, let's say, interest or the
Right.
dividends which he has either collected or which has reinvested. That means the fund has paid out. Instead of he taking out, he has reinvested this money, or the
Correct.
interest has been accumulated. It will be added as the income in that particular year.
Correct.
Whereas if he has invested in some mutual fund where these are the growth funds, that means they will not pay out the dividend. Their capital would appreciate, depreciate, stagnate over there. Till he redeems, it will not be taken into account. It is something which is work in progress. So
Yes.
only the realized income in that year will be taxable in India. Is my
Yes.
understanding correct here?
Yes, yes, perfect. That's what the understanding would be. Say, for example, again to further make an addition to this explanation what you have given. Now, if in the appreciation during that year, if there is some portion wherein, say, for example, there is a switch of a fund within the retirement account, and there is a realization of capital gains. So those capital gains also will attract tax in India.
Yeah, that means it is as good as redeemed. Switches are treated
Yes.
as a redemption. So you have
Yes.
moved from fund A to fund B. It has resulted in a capital gains. In accordance with the capital gains tax, it will be taxed.
Yes.
Mr. Sriram, this gives me a doubt in my mind now that, look, you say that it will get taxed in India if there is an income realization. But in reality, the NRI has not got back that money outside of his retirement account.
Yes.
Whatever the income realization which happened or the redemption and reinvestment happened within that account.
Yes.
Even then it becomes taxable, even if he has not realized the income. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. Even though the funds are not withdrawn to his bank account, that is, even though he has not received the amount of cash, actual cash, okay, either to his bank account. So even then it will attract tax if there is a reinvestment of interest, dividend, or the capital gains, etc.
Mr. Sriram, a follow-up question for you. Now, this peculiar situation for NRIs will result in one complication. Now, people have left behind their retirement accounts. Country where they are maintaining this retirement account, be it USA, UK, wherever it is, they will not tax this account till the investor is withdrawing that money from them. But here in India, now you are taxing that even before he withdraws. When they withdraw this money in subsequent years, the source country will tax it. Then will it not result in some kind of a mismatch in taxation? And will it not create a double taxation in this particular regard?
Yes, definitely there would be mismatch in the year of taxation of these incomes, because in most of the countries, wherever there is a recognized retirement accounts, the funds will attract tax only upon withdrawal of the amount from that particular fund to their bank account. However, since for India, it is unrecognized, what they're going to do is they're going to tax it on a year-on-year basis. That's why definitely there will be a mismatch in the year of taxation. Generally, because of this mismatch, there would definitely be, double taxation of the same year in the hands of the same person, but in the different years.
Right. So you cannot claim it under a DTAA because it has not happened in this year. India taxed it well in advance whenever it happened. The investor is taking out money after a few number of years later. So it is creating a mismatch and it is creating a taxation issue. Mr. Sriram, if it is as clear as chalk and cheese, there is a double taxation issue and there is a mismatch of years. The government should solve it. You can't make people pay taxes in two different places for the same level of income just because one country follows one rule and the other country follows another rule. Is there a remedy which has been thought about? It has been a burning issue. I know about it. What is it the government is doing? Is there a remedy for this?
Since the double taxation was in different tax years, that means double taxation happened due to taxation of the income in different years. There is no remedy as such in taxation mechanism worldwide for these kind of issues. However, one good news is that with effect from financial year 21-22, India has taken a step in which they wanted to give certain relief to these kind of issues unilaterally. Okay, so whereby what they did is, if a resident in India is holding a retirement account in USA, UK, and Canada, only three countries, USA, UK, and Canada, then earning this kind of income, then what he can do is he can claim this deduction, okay, claim this income, year on year income as a deduction in his return of income, and also file a requisite form and do proper compliances and postpone the taxation from the year of accrual to the year of withdrawal of such income in actually from that retirement account. But this is applicable only if the retirement accounts are held in USA, UK, and Canada. Maybe in future more countries may get added to this. Yeah.
So if my understanding is correct, while you're filing the tax return, you recognize this income.
Yes.
And you compute your taxes.
Yes.
But don't pay the taxes now. Give the requisite declaration.
Yes.
And based on this declaration, the actual payment of tax happens whenever you withdraw from these accounts after you pay the taxes in the source country, and the
Yes.
remainder of the tax as per the DTA agreement between these countries, you pay. So what
Yes.
it will solve is one mismatch of years will be solved, and it will also help an investor to offset the taxes that he has paid in the source country. But the problem right now is it is applicable for only three major countries. There are other countries which are involved. Probably we'll hope that the government will look into the cases of other NRIs in other countries as well.
Yes, absolutely. India has aligned the year of taxation for these type of mismatches, especially for USA, UK, and Canada, where the retirement accounts are held by the resident in India.
Shriram, one peculiar case. Government tries to solve one problem, but the taxpayer can see it in a different way. For example, for a n number of years, he gives a declaration. He realizes that I have to pay taxes every year, but I'll pay when I withdraw the money.
Yes.
And when it comes to question of withdrawing that money, the taxpayer again becomes a non-resident. Right?
Yes.
What happens to this taxation? Because he has become a non-resident, all these taxations are of the previous where he has given declaration is waived off, or is it a hanging sword on him?
No, it's actually, see, this unilateral beneficial provision which is given for postponing the taxation for these kind of issues, whereby they want to solve the issues for double taxation, is a beneficial provision. Okay, so if somebody is trying to what to say, play with that and claim the additional benefit by doing away with payment of taxes, for that also this beneficial provision has come up with certain additional conditions. The condition goes like this. Say for example, you have been resident in India, you were supposed to pay taxes in India on these accrued incomes, but you have postponed the taxes as per the applicable provisions in all these years. And whenever it comes to withdrawal, you have gone out now, whereby you wanted to avoid payment of taxes in India. So at this point of time, for this, there is an additional condition in this provision. What it says is, any after n number of years, if at all you become a non-resident, then it is as good as you have not been made any declaration or not been given any deduction in all these years, and whatever the aggregate deductions what you have claimed under these provisions, beneficial provisions, will attract tax in the first year of you becoming a non-resident after becoming a resident. That means whereby all these years income will be aggregated and you will have to pay taxes in the year of becoming non-resident in India. So this is how the additional condition has been put forth. So there is no way in which a person can avoid taxes but he can only postpone the taxes for the year of withdrawal. That's it. So if somebody is trying to be smart, then there is always an additional condition in the income tax provisions.
Actually, if somebody goes outside
Yes.
and he has not even withdrawn that money from the retirement account, then as per
Yes.
this clause, the first year of you becoming a non-resident, when you
Yes.
have postponed your tax liabilities, you're
Yes.
liable to pay taxes, whether you're paid in the host country or not. It is as
Yes,
simple as
absolutely. Absolutely. That's how it works.
so there is no way somebody can escape the taxes under these retirement accounts by these dubious means,
Yes.
if at all, if someone has thought about it.
Yes, absolutely.
Mr. Sriram, we know that everybody has accumulated retirement pots in different countries in different parts. Some countries have got this social security benefit. People have lived there for many years. And at certain point of time, post 59, 60, 65, whatever it is, they start getting a payout from the state, social security. How will the taxation of social security will happen in this case? Is there a separate rules for it, or how will it be treated while computing the tax?
The social security is something different than retirement account. Okay, the social security will not be treated as a retirement account as such, and for that there are different rules. Okay, because the social security is normally and generally is given by the sovereign country only to the citizens of that country. Okay, so the taxation of social security is not akin to the taxation of retirement accounts, and it has to be treated differently. And there are provisions normally in the double taxation avoidance agreement wherein it would say, or it will give the right of taxation to one of the countries, either to the country where that person is a citizen or to the country where the person is a resident, or if at all it is getting taxed in both the countries, obviously the double taxation can be avoided by way of claiming foreign tax credit.
Mr. Sriram, Indians are very intelligent people. The first question that comes to the mind is, how will the Indian government come to know that I have got a retirement account? I will not declare when I am filing a taxes when I am residing in India. Is it a risk an NRI or a resident who has come back can take, or will the government definitely comes to know about that he is holding a retirement account outside of India?
See, in my view, nobody should take that kind of a risk of non-declaration. Why? Because India has, entered into double taxation avoidance agreement, either comprehensive or, just for the purpose of exchange of information with almost all the countries in the world. So, whereby the information is getting flown to the Indian, government in various modes or means. So the only way is, maybe, due to infrastructure, lacks, they may not be in a position to compile the entire information and start a process, to identify who is doing what, etc. But it is only a matter of time before, they start doing all these things. So in my view, nobody should take that risk, because government of India has been very strict, during past a few years about taxation and foreign exchange, etc. So they will find a way to, catch this kind of non-declaration or non-filing of return of income, etc. So that's why I don't recommend for that. There is always an exchange of information agreement with many countries, like say with the US, there is a FATCA. So the informations are being exchanged on a regular basis. So nobody should, be a non-declarer.
Mr. Sriram, thank you very much for these inputs on taxation of retirement accounts held outside of India. It has been a topic which we had not dwelled upon earlier. Lots of questions were there. It remains complex, but nevertheless, we have taken the first step. We only hope and pray that Government of India simplifies it, makes it more easy for the returning NRIs to stick to what they need to do when they are filing the taxes. Thank you very much for your efforts to bring these inputs for the benefit of NRI community. I remain in gratitude to you for your kindness and time that you have shared with us.
You're welcome.
Dear viewers, hope the video that I have done today helped you to understand what happens to your retirement accounts when you come back to India permanently, how it needs to be taxed, the points that you have to keep it in mind, and when you can get the tax credit in case if you have to pay the same taxes in the source country. If it did help you to understand all these final points, please do give me a thumbs up. If you're a person who is watching my channel for the first time, do not forget to hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon. Don't forget to share these videos with the near and dear ones, friends and relatives, and with everyone for whom this information is very beneficial. Thank you very much for watching this episode on NRI Money Clinic. I shall be back with you next Tuesday with yet another topic, with yet another expert. Till then, stay safe. Jai Bharat.
Press the bell icon for more details and subscribe our channel.